Hey guys, it's Sam, and look, I have a new spot to film in for my personal channel videos, which is good. I was originally gonna hang some art here, and then I was like, no, use it for a filming space when you need a non-bookish backdrop, so here we are. But on my other channel, I didn't have a review for today because I've been reading a lot of contemporary and not really feeling like reviewing it because I had nothing really new to say about that genre right now. So I asked you guys on Twitter if you wanted to see some of my more recent plant purchases, and almost all of you were like, hell yeah. So I did do a video on my booktube channel about like books my plants would like, where I showed all my plants that I had at the time. I think I had 9. I now have 16. 3 of those I bought today. So let me show you what I've gotten recently. First one is this little marble queen pothos. Bought her today. She's actually in a tiny pot, and then I have her in a cash pot, which is a pot that doesn't have a drainage hole in it, so I take her out to water her, blah blah blah. Well, I would. I just got her today, so I haven't watered her yet. But I have her set up in a like darker spot in my living room because my living room only has a northeast facing window that I don't open a lot because it faces the parking lot and my dog barks at everything that she sees outside. Well, like other dogs. So I need to figure out a system, which I've already thought of, either like one of those frosted glass stick-ons or maybe like a piece of fabric that's like a cool pattern that'll be kind of artsy to hang up there so that she can't see out, and then the rest of it will be open light so that my plants can get more light and I can have more plants in here and whatever. But I figured a pothos can survive a lot, and it's away from all of the animals, so it's on a shelf that they can't get to. It's on a very small shelf. We're not even going to try to get to it because pothos are toxic to animals if they eat them, so don't want that to happen. So it's on a spot where they like definitely can't get it, but I like her. I don't love a lot of pothos, like I don't love neon pothos or like your normal pothos, but the marble ones I like a lot. And this was really cheap. It was like $4.99 at this one nursery that I go to locally that I love, and I've gotten like some of my best plants from. Then recently I also got 4 plants from a plant shop that I really like in Philly called Urban Jungle. They have a lot of like smaller like 4-inch pot plants, so it's nice to get plants that I'm not sure that I'm going to be good at there when I'm in town, because I'm in Philly maybe like once every 2 or 3 months, between every 2 and 4 months. Depends on how much I want to deal with Philly. And so I really like it there because they have a lot of the 4-inch pots, so I can get these little plants, see if they work for me. They're fairly inexpensive, and then if I kill them I don't feel like quite as bad. Like I feel bad, but I don't feel bad like I just killed a $40 plant. So the first plant was the Scindapsus pictus, which is a silver Ann, and this is one of these trailing plants that has these nice like silvery patterned leaves. So this one is going to grow and, you know, trail, and I love trailing plants. Calatheas and then pretty much any kind of trailing plant are my 2 favorite kinds of plants. So really happy to have this. And I have these on an IKEA shelf that I've had for years. All of these plants that I'm going to show. And then I have a grow light bulb that I got from GE, just one of the GE grow lights, because it's a white light, a full spectrum light, because I hate the lights that are like purple or red or blue like that. It just looks horrible, and I don't want to be getting plants to make my environment look nice and feel happy and have living things and then have like purple hue to everything. So I got that, and I set that up and have that going 12 hours a day at least, with also all the windows open because it's in like a darker corner as well. So this is one of the first ones I got. Then I got this Hoya, also from the same place. I believe this is a Hoya Carnosa tricolor, I think, but I'm not sure because it just says Hoya on it. But I liked it because I had already this long trailing baby, and Hoyas are also trailing plants. Some of the all white leaves are dying, but this is a plant that has like a lot of like the nice variegation, and it'll have some green leaves, some green and white leaves, and then some all white leaves, but the white leaves don't have enough chlorophyll in them to keep living. That's true of any variegated plant, so they will die pretty quickly. But I just love how these look, and I can't wait for this to be like super trailing and like wrap around things, like a little jungle plant. Love her. Then I got this Dracaena Jade Jewel. I don't love a lot of Dracaenas, but Dracaenas are lower light plants, and I like the green and the white here. I don't tend to like the yellow that's a lot of Dracaenas have, but I love this white. So this is one of the few Dracaenas that I wanted, and they had it in a small pot, and so I picked this one up. Then the last one that I got recently from Urban Jungle is this Tradescantia zebrina, which is the wandering Jew plant is the common name for it. These get huge and trailing and just gigantic. The nursery that I love that I mentioned with the other plant that I'd gotten, the pothos, which I'm going to show some more from that nursery, they always have giant baskets of this that are just like this big and just beautiful and trailing, but I don't have the room for that right now, which is why I got this little baby, and I want to make sure that I have the conditions that I can kind of make it okay and like get used to it. But this little baby was $7. The giant pot of it that was at my local nursery was like 40, which again, that's why I want to practice on this, but also like $40 for that giant blooming beautiful plant I would totally do. But I love these because they're purple and silvery and green, and they're just like, they're so pretty. So I love this. I hope that it like survives and does well. But the problem I'm having with this one is it's not letting me bottom water it, because I usually bottom water my plants by putting them in water, letting the roots soak everything up. It hasn't let me do that. And then it's so full that I can't top water it. There are some like tiny baby roots coming out of the bottom, but not like big roots, like they're very thin. So if you guys are familiar with this plant and it has like thin roots, maybe it's too big for this pot, like maybe it's root bound and needs a bigger pot, and then I can start bottom watering it. So let me know your thoughts if you are familiar with this Tradescantia. Then I have a Home Depot buy, and this is a little ZZ plant, which I had never intended to get, even though everyone's like ZZ plants are great because you barely have to water them. You have to water them like once a month, and they grow in like hardly any light and whatever. But I do think they look like sort of fake because they are so like glossy and just like indestructible. But when I first got this, like it had these stems that didn't even have leaves on it, and it already has leaves, and it's just like really happy. So I kind of like it. I might put it like in my bathroom, which has no light, and then occasionally like mix it out here so it gets like some light, and then it'll just kind of stay this size. I don't want like a giant ZZ plant by any means, but it came already in this little like cash pot, whatever you want to call it. So I already had this little white pot, and is like super easy. So if you're gonna get a ZZ plant, definitely just get it from like a big box store because they have them all the time. I do want a ZZ Raven, which is a black ZZ plant, but I'm just not worrying about that right now. And the last two plants are plants that I got again today along with the pothos from the local nursery that I love. That's where I got my Calathea Flame Star that I showed in my last video, which is a rarer Calathea that I didn't even realize. So it's like they don't even know what they have when they have Calatheas, and they charge like nothing for them for what they're worth. But anyway, today I picked up this new Calathea. This is a Calathea Makoyana, I believe. Calatheas are such a pain in the ass to identify because so many come up with like so many different names, and it's like really hard to just like place. But the Calathea are like prayer plants. They're in like the Maranticiae family, and they're the ones that move their leaves like I've talked about before. They're my favorite kind of plant. I love them. They require a lot of humidity and like lower medium light, and are just like more finicky. A lot of people don't like them for that reason, but they are fucking gorgeous, so that's why I just adore them. And this was $12. $12.99, which I know is technically $13 to some people, but for me, I'm like, it has a 12 in it, so it's $12. And I believe it was mislabeled because I went out in another part of the greenhouse and they had smaller versions of these in 4-inch pots. This is a 6-inch pot, and they were selling those for $12.99. So I think they didn't even realize, and they should have been like 25. But so there's like some new leaves coming out. There are two different types of this plant, and one didn't, like this leaf is a little bit like icky and has some like, I don't know, just like damage to it. But otherwise I thought this one was a little bit more beautiful. Like it's just, I'm looking at the viewfinder, like it's so pretty. So I have it on top of my fridge with the rest of my Calatheas, and I also think I need to repot it because the like roots are bursting through the bottom. So I think that has to happen. So I got a pot to repot it in already. And the last plant that I got recently, also today, also a Calathea, is the Calathea Freddy. Now these have like longer leaves and just like a nice, and they're like more, I don't know, they feel like they're more upright, but there's a lot of leaves at the bottom. I was not gonna get this one, and then I realized that they were all mislabeled for $12.99, and I'm like, I'm now buying it. So this one has a new leaf coming in and everything, and it's just, it's so pretty. So they're all on top of my fridge now, around my humidifier. I might also get a pebble tray, and I'm gonna repot this one because this one also has roots coming out the bottom, so I think it desperately needs repotting. But I love them, and I just hope that they're happy, and I'll get them a grow light if they need it, but hopefully they won't. And I just want them to thrive in my environment, even though I know Calatheas are like a big pain in the ass, but they're just my favorite. So that is it for all the plants that I've gotten recently. Like I said, I now have a total of 16 plants, which make me happy, and I actually am thinking about getting some more things so I can hang plants around, because I want some more trailing hanging plants, especially in this room, which has barely any plants in it. And I'm gonna work out a system for this window right here, so hopefully I'll have more plants. I sort of wanna tap out at like 25. Like I feel like that's enough for this space, especially because I don't have a lot of light. And when I eventually move in like a year, I will have a different lighting situation whenever, and then I can get some more like big things like monsteras and like wonderful everything. So if you guys have any tips for me for the care of these plants or anything like that, or just let me know some plants that you've gotten recently, just talk to me about all of your plant feelings. So thank you all for watching, and I'll see all of you guys soon. Bye.